I have the honor and the big pleasure to welcome Brian Solis to this Gurcles webinar. Gurcles is all about gurus in a circle. We are a nice and exclusive circle of change agents today here, and Brian is the thought leader who will be answering our questions today.
It's interesting. I love the fact that you guys are, that you even call yourselves change agents. The truth is that I don't know that there's any one definition. I would say, though, that the one that is most popular or important to me is anyone who believes that how things are done today could improve or could be different or should be different, and that they're willing to not just talk about it, but they're willing to do something about it. And that, to me, is where a change agent comes in, is somebody who's willing to break away from the norm, break away from the path, and start to pave their own road. And the more successful change agents aren't just people who fight for change. They're people who successfully rally or inspire people to follow them. And that is something that I try to do because I can't bring about change alone.
But in order to make this change happen, it takes also leaders who understand that change needs to happen. And what are like these three main points that you raise when you talk to leaders, to CEOs of so many companies that you consult to?
You know, if they call me in the first place, that's a good sign. What I like to do is get in there and talk to the stakeholders within an organization, people who have their hands dirty in working there, either because they love it or because they're stuck there, and just to hear all those different stories, hear all the frustrations, to hear all of the lost opportunities, to hear all of the things that people want to do, just don't know how to do, and take all that information and almost treat it like a form of therapy, where people get to vent and people get to share what it is that they can't share in boardrooms. And I take all of that information and present it back to whomever my executive stakeholder is and say, you know, look, this is what's going on in your organization. So what you're asking me to do and what we can do are actually two different things. And this is something that I believe that we have to prioritize once we finish this project together. They need help in seeing what they don't see today. They need help in seeing that it's safe, that it's okay to go against the norm. They need help understanding that you can take risks and that there are rewards to be had for that. And a lot of times they just need to feel, they need to touch what's possible. And that's the role of a good change agent, is to speak their language and to help them see what they don't see, but never to try to sell in a project of transformation. There are very few buyers for that.
Okay. What I would like to do now is take the opportunity and introduce our audience to your excellent book, What's the Future of Business? And I've gathered a few of the graphics and visuals from your book, which transport the main points that you make in your book. And let's start with this one. And maybe you want to share what this graphic is all about, Brian.
It's a representation of what the whole book is about. You know, the one thing that businesses forget is emotion, and it's easy to forget it because it's not, there isn't necessarily a chart that an executive sees that says, you know, how wonderful they are, or what people feel when they use the product, or how they talk about it when they're with friends or colleagues. And you know, we tend to minimize that emotion in the form of, you know, a net promoter score or sentiment, but it's more important. And so the book, and this image especially, is meant to make people, to shake them up and say, hey, you have the opportunity to not just sell a product, but to make it mean something. And if you had the opportunity to tell somebody what makes you so special, and what they could in turn tell someone else about what makes you so special, what would you say? And how would you do it? And how would you remind me of how important you are over our relationship? And that's what this is about. That's what the whole book is about.
I particularly love this picture. Would you explain what you mean by innovation begins here?
the idea that innovation begins here is that, look, I'm here at CES. There's a lot of products that are going to fail because none of them thought about the heart. It was just about, we have access to all this technology. We know that these are trends. We know that wearables are a big thing. We know that Fitbit is showing people that you need to start tracking, your steps, and Nike FieldBand is showing people that they need to track what they're doing to live a healthier lifestyle. So they start innovating based on these trends, but they're not thinking about the heart. They're not thinking about that connection that says, well, why would you, Lefty, use this product, and how is it going to change your life, and how are you going to get everybody else around you to change your life because of this? That's where it has to begin. Your ability to passionately say why this matters so that someone understands that they're not just buying a product, they're actually becoming part of a lifestyle or part of a community that's bigger than just you or them. It's the sum of everybody together that matters, and that starts from the heart.
There's like a few more graphics that I want to pull up, which will make a great end to this. So, if in doubt, begin. What was your main idea behind this graphic here?
One of the common complaints of any book that I write is that I don't share enough case studies or best practices for how to change or how to bring about, an innovative culture, or basically, what are the steps to do everything that we just talked about. And my point is that I'm not writing books that go try to copy the steps of what some organizations are doing because it sounds nice if you could put it into 10 steps. The point is that you don't have the answers. Every business is different. Every culture is different. All the circumstances are different. The relationship you want to have with your customers and your employees is probably different. So don't wait for a template. Don't wait for best practices. Don't wait for case studies. Be the case study. And that's the point. We need to start. We need to bring about change because the future is up to us.
Powered by Hatziioannou.